like to call the Old Town Planning Board meeting of December 13th, 2016 to order. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from November 15th, 2016. Everybody get the minutes sent?
I'd like to make a motion, we approve them as prepared for us.
I'll second those.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? None opposed? Thank you, Dave. Thank you. Item 3 is a site plan review for the NERM LLC for a medical marijuana registered caregiver facility located at 983 Stillwater Avenue, tax map 17, lots 22, 26, and 27, case number 1525. We have someone here. Would you step up to the podium, please, and identify yourself, and then it's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Gina Detour from Carpenter Associates, and I'm here tonight representing...
Would you say your name again?
Gina Detour from Carpenter Associates. I'm here tonight representing NERM Inc. The owner, Salvatore Faro, who goes by Anthony, is with me tonight to answer any questions. Anthony's intentions are to change the use of the existing building on tax map 17, lots 22, 26, and 27, located in the Highway Commercial C3 zone, formerly known as Short Fuse Fireworks, into a medical marijuana dispensary. The existing building is approximately 2,700 square feet, single story, and equipped with an automatic sprinkler system. The existing conditions and boundary surveys were done by both Paliska and Day and Down to Earth. No changes are proposed to the site drainage patterns. The minimal disturbance during construction will follow the Department of Environmental Protection's best management practices. Vehicle access to and from the site will be off Stillwater Avenue and an emergency exit only onto College Avenue. We have provided 16 parking stalls, with one being handicap accessible. The project will continue to have city septic and water. There is underground electrical in place, and no additional exterior site lighting is proposed at this time. Waivers have been requested for parking and landscaping. Please note that on the site plan, we are proposing a 6-foot fence, which starts here at the building, goes back to the property line, across the property line, and all the way here, down this way, and then ties back into the existing fence, which is at McDonald's. Your ordinance requires over 1,000 feet from any school and over 500 feet from any residence. To meet this, NERM Inc. is relocating the entrance to the back of the building. So it was here, it's now going to be in the back. All other means of egress will be exit only, and all exterior door handles will be removed. Conditions have been added to the site plan that include the parking area and rear access drive to be paved by the applicant within 1 year of site plan approval. Rear access, a gate, and all means of building egress and ingress must remain clear of obstructions and snow at all times, and that all of the other requirements in the section 104.24, subsection E, 1 through 10, must be adhered to at all times. It is our intent to follow the Old Town's land use ordinance and to receive the planning board's approval. Thank you. Just wanted to show the... So again, the gate will go, or the fence, the 6-foot fence will go here, down the property line, across, and then tie into the existing McDonald's.
Okay, thank you. If you can be available for questions, but you don't have to stand up there the whole time. If you want to sit down, that'd be fine. And we'll discuss this and recognize you at such time that we would like to have you address something. Regarding the conditions of approval for the site plan review, Dave, you have item number 3 says an access gate must remain clear of obstructions and snow at all times. Where is the access gate going to be?
Right here.
That's onto College Avenue.
Yes,
Correct.
And that's going to be locked or
Yes.
closed?
yes, at all times except for fire personnel only.
Oh, that brings up a good question. And there is a knock box located right here on the corner for the key to that gate and the
Okay,
building.
as that
That
was my,
gate prohibits anybody from leaving the building and being within that 500-foot proximity to a residential dwelling.
that's what that's for. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, that's what that's for, is to keep the 500-foot distance. So in order to get to those residents, you got to go all the way out to Stillwater, out to Stillwater.
And that's not a straight line distance, that's a travel
It
distance. That's
says
how
it
you-
travels, that's
you
how
done
the
that.
ordinance was written, yep.
And then the distance from the school, as you noted in your write-up, that the Montessori school is certainly not
Yeah.
far away.
It's well over 1,000 feet. As you drive there. I wheeled that off myself
Okay,
before they get too far into this process, yeah.
okay.
You're about 1,100 feet door to door.
And that's why the door is located on the backside.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone have any comments or questions on that?
Dave, can you walk us through what one of these facilities is? Just, I guess, so the folks in the audience understand, because when I first heard of this, I thought it was something where if I wanted to, if I had the certificate, I could go there and do it. But it sounds like it's restricted to 5 clients. That's it.
And probably Anthony can better answer that, but that's correct. Any registered caregiver can only have 5 clients at any given time.
Okay, so he can only sell to 5 people?
That's
it?
correct.
Okay.
Twice, well, every 15 days, I believe.
There's just a max amount per 15 days.
And so you don't grow it there, you don't consume it there. What do you do there?
Just dispense it to that client.
Because I saw the floor plan and it looks like an office waiting area and then there's a dispensary area. So if I go in there, if I have the rights, I go in there and I sit and I wait.
If
and then
you're,
my appointed time-
if you're one of his patients, yes.
So I just don't go in and stand at a counter and buy it like I would at the liquor store.
No. When you look at that floor plan, you have the waiting area. There's actually a window where there'll be someone stationed. You get buzzed in to see Mr. Faro.
So how much traffic do we talk about here today, or in a day, or like
No more than five people.
per day at the most? Okay.
Yep.
So it's not gonna cause any traffic issues
No.
getting in and out, and it's not?
This door will be locked at all
Right.
times. And in order to access through here, you're gonna have to come to this window.
Mhm.
And the person that's in this office will buzz you in,
Mhm.
So-
one at a time.
Am I missing something? The entire business, if you will, the dispensary is based on 5
5 clients.
patients? These are all patients who are medical marijuana
Correct.
patients with
And he
prescriptions?
is their caregiver.
Okay, and then that's all we're approving tonight. Now, obviously, with the passage of the referendum question
That
on
may be
recreational
something he
marijuana.
chooses to come to see us at a later date. At this
But-
point in time, it's just for what he is allowed to do, 5 days. When they talk about a registered dispensary, those are large facilities with numerous caregivers, and there was only 8 of those licensed in the state.
So this facility would then be licensed for 1 caregiver?
Correct. 5 patients.
Okay.
How often do the patients visit this facility?
Just depends on the patient, their usage, every couple days, depending on how much they're spending at once.
Is there a limit to what you can dispense to them?
You can only get 2.5 ounces every 15 days.
Okay. All right, well, then that is, to my understanding, that is the scope of this project.
Of this project
at this point,
right
and
now.
that any changes in that would require
We've talked about that, he would have to
for
come back.
for new site plan review.
Yep.
And okay, so.
You have a question from the audience, can you ask?
Well, I'd like to, I will certainly address those in a moment, if you will, but I want to get through this first, and then I certainly will ask for questions. So, but among the board here, I mean, everybody understand what it is we're approving. It seems to me a very limited,
So a person leaves the facility as they came to the facility, so in other words, they're not going to be consuming, so theoretically, there's no impairments.
well, other than whatever their condition
Right, exactly.
is
That's what I mean.
that
That's
caused
what I
that in the
mean.
beginning.
Yep.
So, okay, so that's it. I guess
That is it.
I just kind of thought that there was a little more involved in that, and then I guess I would ask the applicant then. I mean, is this something that you think you would expand either more caregivers or become a dispensary in the future? Is that part of the plan, or?
I'm not gonna put any more caregivers in there, but if the town would like me to expand down the road, I would be interested, yes. Right now, I'm just trying to take it out of dark back corner meeting my patient who's sick. I just feel like they could have a nicer environment to come see me. It just seems right to be doing it in a parking lot.
Okay.
One question, Dave, when we approved this for the fireworks, did we require them to exit onto College Avenue?
Based on the amount of traffic it was.
And of course, we did require it, that was the reason we required the building to be sprinklered, because of the fireworks. I'm presuming it's not a requirement for,
It is going to be a requirement.
it's a requirement under
Fire
the
department,
ordinance?
yep. Under the fire, because of the way we're blocking the exits or there's no light in there, yeah.
Okay, well, it already exists, that it's in good working order
Yep.
presumably, so it's not like you have to add it, but, okay, it's certainly always better.
So for discussion purposes, if, based on what we're facing today, by having the gate locked and the knock box and all that, we're gonna have no issues with coming and going. In the future, we actually, if we look in the past, we required the exit to off onto College Avenue. So if the transition ever did occur into a retail environment,
You'll have to look and see how the retail laws are written
okay,
at the
so,
state
and we're
level.
not
Well,
even
then
having
they
to look
haven't
at
been
that
written
now.
yet, to my understanding.
No.
Okay, but in order to meet this requirement, this fits. And it may or may not in the future, we don't know.
Correct.
Okay, that's the first question. Second question is, based on the review of the lease at $2,500 per month, and the letter from the, saying the financial capacity, I'm unaware of who that is, but if this is a one provider, 5 patients, and a $2,500 a month triple net, I assume, I don't understand, like, our portion to review financial capacity at this point.
Typically, when we review financial capacity, it was if there was going to be a lot of major construction done there were site work in a building.
they complete the
So
project?
can they complete it so that if it falls apart, they pull out, the city doesn't have
And
an eyesore
would the
sitting
city,
there.
would the city be then stuck with finishing the
Trying to
project
clean
or
something
putting
up.
it to bed or whatever they had to do?
With this, the improvements are interior,
seem to
except
be
for some
any-
paving in
yeah.
the spring, and
Doesn't
So,
seem to be any-
that was my opinion of,
Okay, so I would say that there are no issues surrounding that, so.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought that up.
Also in your information, you had that, you had spoken, this is to Dave, to the fire department, the police department and so forth, and I saw letters from all of them except the police department in the packet. Is there,
no, Scott didn't get one to me,
but he has no issues with it?
no,
Okay,
none at all. We've talked numerous occasions on it.
okay.
Okay, I understand that NERM or or Carpenter has prepared findings of fact for the site plan review. And I believe at this time would be a good time for me to go through those. That may answer questions that are out there, but after that is done and before we file a motion, I intend to ask for any input or questions or comments from the audience. Hearing no objection, I will go through the findings of fact. Number one is the utilization of the site. The plan for the, and please, if you have any questions, stop me, any members of the board here. The plan for the development reflects the natural capabilities of the site to support development. And the site is the former Short Fuse Fireworks. It's presently vacant. You can read that all down through there, but I basically, what's left is a justification that that the plan for development reflects the natural capabilities of the site. And without objection, I will read through all of these and then ask for a vote on the findings of fact in the affirmative. Traffic access and parking. Vehicular access to and from the development site is safe and convenient, and there's not enough traffic to require a traffic survey or a traffic permit. It has an existing entrance, and it was a former business that there were no issues regarding that. So the rest of that, I mean, unless there's any questions about that, I think yeah.
I think we should make the applicant aware that we did require access on the College Avenue in the past for the fireworks store, and if they come back to us for a reason and the traffic count increases dramatically, then that will be a point of discussion whether we can allow them to exit onto Stillwater Avenue.
I mean, I understand that the reason for this gate is to stay within the ordinance for the distances traveled on the ground from residences or schools, and that's the reason for it. It does seem, is there, that can't be waived because that's in the basic ordinance, is there, or can that be waived? The gate.
The gate has nothing to do with it. The gate is a preventative measure to keep the 500-foot separation.
That's right, and we can't waive that.
No.
I didn't think so.
Now, if it goes to a retail situation down the road, that's going to depend on how those laws are written. If
Yeah,
there's
how
a difference in, I imagine that the distances will be the same,
Well, if they are, then the gate has to remain.
and then we'll have to look at traffic counts for that type of business.
Well, I mean, the ordinance is the ordinance. We can't go against the ordinance. We can only grant
We're
waivers
interested.
for what
Well-
the ordinance allows us to grant waivers for.
I see that.
But, I mean, clearly it's silly, okay, but we can't, that has to remain. You understand that?
I understand that.
Okay. And you have asked for a waiver to provide only 16 spaces that has been requested, so that's part of this as well. And any vote on these findings of facts will, that'll probably have to be in the actual motion as well. Pedestrian circulation. The site plan provides for a system of pedestrian ways within the development appropriate to the type and scale of development. And I would agree, unless there's any comment on that. Stormwater management, the site is designed so that post-development stormwater runoff does not exceed the pre-development stormwater runoff, and there's going to be no significant change or increase in impermeable area, impervious ground, so I think we're all set there. Erosion control, there's no slope, so there shouldn't be any issue with that. And an erosion and sediment control plan has been prepared for the project. BMPs are best management practices to prevent erosion and siltation of protected water bodies. The closest water body that I'm aware of is that brook that goes by.
All the way across Stillwater and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the only water body that I'm aware of that is close enough to be effectively adjacent. Water supply provisions, the applicant has demonstrated that the project will have an adequate water supply. We did see a letter in the packet. I think we're covered there. Sewage disposal provisions. And is that the letter that you had here?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The development is provided with a method of disposing of sewage which is in compliance with the state plumbing code, and we have that letter in our packet. Utilities, the development is provided with electrical, telephone, and telecommunication service adequate to meet the anticipated use of the project. Number 9, natural features and landscaping. The landscape will be preserved in its natural state insofar as practicable by minimizing tree removal, disturbance, compaction of soil and water bodies, including wetlands, and by retaining existing vegetation insofar as practical during construction. As we previously noted, there's really no issue that I'm aware of. Water quality protection, again, the applicant has made adequate provisions for the protection of water quality. Any waste that you would produce at, you're not going to be producing any waste, are you? Not from the product.
No, just from the restroom.
The product is going to be basically delivered there and then dispensed there to your 5 patients.
Yes.
Okay. So, all right. Hazardous special or radioactive materials. It is stated that there will be no hazardous special or radioactive materials on the site. Shoreland relationship. And basically the site does not lie within the shoreland zone, and there's no visibility issues from the Stillwater River. Capacity of the applicant, and as you had asked earlier, Steve, the applicant has demonstrated that he has the financial and technical capability to carry out the project, and there doesn't appear to be any pending liability to the city of Old Town for anything that the applicant would fail to do. Solid waste management provides for disposal of solid waste. There's be a screened dumpster shown on the plan, and that is as normal for any other place there. Historic and archaeological resources, and my understanding is that there's no known historical significance to the site, which has been developed for many years. Haven't heard any issues with that. Floodplain management project does not lie within the 100-year flood zone. Exterior lighting, as my understanding, the applicant is going to use the existing lighting, and there's no new proposed lighting that would impact neighbors. Screening, the applicant has made adequate provisions for screening of mechanical equipment, refuse containers, and outdoor storage. The applicant proposes no areas of outdoor storage except for the dumpster. There will be no outdoor sales proposed or allowed. Okay, so those are the findings of fact. And we have noted the special conditions. Any questions from the board regarding those findings of fact, comments? Okay, we've gone through the basic conditions for approval, the findings of fact, and at this time I would like to ask for any questions from the audience or concerns that you have regarding this application. Did that?
My question is this viable with 5 people?
Well,
It's not. And we
I'll
can-
take that one. That question is a valid one, but it has nothing to do with this process.
yeah, you know, certainly we can all have questions about that, and that obviously the applicant has to meet the conditions of the ordinance and the site plan review, and that's what this is about. And it's just like the fireworks store that went in there, they were quite sure that that was gonna go gangbusters. Well, it didn't. And, you know, what the future holds for this application, well, we'll find out.
Another corollary to that then is, in the future, if he wishes to add another caregiver to the group, that would again have to go through.
That's my understanding. I asked that question earlier, and I believe it would. And I would think that in the future, if that is in the future, a possible plan, that the things obviously that the planning board and the code enforcement officer would be concerned about would be the amount of people that would be there, the impact of either the use or not use of an intoxicating substance, on the site or nearby. So those are I'm pretty sure those are the primary concerns that would exist for a future expansion of this site.
Yeah, there's no on-site consumption. There's no on-site consumption.
Okay, I know, but that, if there was a future expansion of this or an expansion to retail, then those would be I'm pretty sure those would be the concerns. Does anyone on the board want to add to that? But just trying to give you a heads up that those are the things we would look at. Any expansion of this, we'd look at it closely, just like we would for, any other facility, like a bar, for instance. So we'd be concerned about that. And
Third question. I'm sorry. I went online today and was trying to look through regulations and rules. Can caregivers cultivate their own plants? Is it 6 plants per caregiver? Am I wrong on that?
well,
Yes,
the
they
question is, are they
Or is
cultivating
he going
plants
to
on
be
site?
Is he going to be able to cultivate plants on that site?
He hasn't asked for that at this time. If that, again, that's a change in the scope of this approval, so he'd have to come back. It would be, he's basically gonna be able to utilize what we have in front of us. Just now, he's asking for permission to do that, and then we have to look at that, any of the regulations from the
I'm
state.
presuming that cultivating plants on site would, I don't know if it'd be outdoors or if it would be indoors or however, but that would constitute a change of use at this point. I mean, it's not to say that it's not possible, but, we'd have to, we would want to review it, especially given the site, as close as you are to all these other residences and businesses and schools and that sort of thing. That would be the primary purpose of a planning board reviewing what we would do there. Okay? All right, so, yes, is there another question back here?
Yeah, it's, I guess, a couple points of clarification. Is this a licensed physician in the state of Maine who will be issuing medical marijuana cards and treating those patients?
No, it's a registered caregiver that will have 5 clients that he's able to dispense to.
So not issuing medical marijuana cards?
No. They will already have those
They-
by
yeah.
their physician.
And what type of caregiver are we speaking of?
A registered medical marijuana caregiver.
And at any given point in time, he can have only 5 patients?
5
So
patients.
if he was to discharge one from his care, he could then add another?
That's correct.
Right, up to 5, right? That's my understanding? Okay. Okay,
Yep.
thank you for your
Good
question.
question.
Was there another question? Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Walt Huffman. I live right down the street from there on College Avenue, about a minute and a half walking distance. I have several questions.
Can you-
Number one.
Can you come up so
Would-
we
would
can
you-
hear you? Well, we're taping this like we do the council meeting.
I have been remiss in asking for names and all of that, but we will start.
Okay, my name is Walt Huffman. I live at 755 College Avenue, which is about a minute and a half's walking from this location. That location started off years and years ago as a bicycle shop, then went to Pizza Dome, then went to what it was, and it was a pizza restaurant, and then the fireworks. So it does have a certain amount of history as far as a commercial location is concerned. Okay, I do have a series of questions. Number one is, who is NERM LLC? Who are they? I mean, where do they come
That
from?
is
I mean, is it,
Salvatore Faro, just a private entrepreneur.
okay, is this an out-of-state business?
No.
Where's it from?
I just opened it. I just started it last month.
Okay. The other question I have then of you, rather than the board, would be, is this one way of getting a foot in the door for once all the legislation settles itself down and rules are written relative to the dispensation of recreational marijuana? Is this a foot in the door for an establishment of that nature
Well, I
down
can,
the line?
and that had certainly been a question that I've had myself going through this, and my understanding of the ordinance and the site plan review is that if we approve this tonight, we are approving this use, and that any change in use has to come back before the board, given the location that this facility is in. I mean, it's a C3 highway commercial zone, and site plan review is required.
Right, I understand all that. The question I would have, or the concern I would have then, if that were to be the case, if 6 months or so down the road, if the state and the legislature kind of, get their act together about the rulemaking and all of that on this issue on the recreational marijuana, this business here, NERM, could easily say, well, you got to give it to us because we're halfway there already and you approved it already. That's what I want to avoid, is that they're almost at a point of having a guarantee of having that business under some kind of a grandfather system.
It's apples and oranges. Because when it becomes retail.
But they're all fruits.
When it becomes retail, you can have it at Hannaford, I'm assuming, if you want to. So it's two different animals. And until the rule-making decisions have been made at the state, I have no idea what they're going to ask for.
Now, the conversation here this evening has been, the word that's been used is an issue of merchandise or material as dispensed. The reality is that this is retail, am I correct? I mean, there's money exchanges here. A certain amount of money is paid for a certain amount of product, right?
It's not looked at as retail by the state.
Because it's by prescription only. It's my understanding.
Well, it's not exactly a script. It's a medical marijuana card.
That you receive from a physician.
Yeah, a doctor has to get
Right,
it.
yeah. I mean, they're a dime a dozen. Okay, I mean, that's the reality.
Then the problem is at the state level, not at this level. To try and answer your questions, Walt.
Okay, then, is there an exchange of money for goods? That's
Yes.
my question.
I'm
Yes.
presuming there
So
is.
something's being sold?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That gets away from the dispensing.
Okay.
Okay. The other question I have is, what are the operating hours?
10 to 8.
10 in the morning till 8 in the evening, year-round? Okay.
The ordinance allows 8 to 8, but in talking with Anthony, he said probably 10 to 8.
Okay, and, okay, I did have a question at one point, and this is kind of a personal thing. At one point, I checked on the cost of that building for sale, and I was told it was $180,000. 5 patients and 1 caregiver, and $180,000. I have a real serious question there.
Well, I can understand your curiosity, but that's none of our business, I guess, at this point. If it fails, it fails.
Well, no, I'm not concerned about the failure. I'm more concerned about it being expanded into something that's not being asked for right now. What I'm hearing here is that, oh, there'll be no consumptions on premises. Half of the dope dealers smoke dope in parking lots, I'm sorry. And they got a parking lot. And they got a good-sized parking lot. Now, they go in and get their product, and they're sitting in a parking lot. Who's going to police that parking lot? Anybody?
Well, obviously there are ordinances and there are laws regarding that. And I understand your concern. I know some people who have been dispensed medical marijuana for cancer, and they're, you know, they've got other things to deal with besides sitting in a parking lot. That's my understanding, is that what these patients are going to be doing at this point. I understand your concern that it's going to expand into a retail store.
I know of with as many people as you may know that have cancer that are using medical marijuana, I can give you 10 to 1 for people who have cards who don't have cancer, and the only reason they get it is for non-medical purposes.
I understand your concern.
Okay.
And
I'm not sure if I want that in my immediate neighborhood.
I
That's all
understand
I'm
your
saying.
concern.
Okay. Along those lines also, what manner of physical security is there for that building? And how much dope's going to be in that building at any one time? It would make a very handy target.
All the doors are steel windowless doors with bars on the inside, locking bars. All the windows have bars on them. There's a 24/7 security system that has to be kept records for 30 days on premise.
Okay. Now, is that any kind of impeding for any kind of fire?
Nope, because all the doors will have dogged lock-in-place panic hardware on them, so they're locked at all times from the outside.
Right.
But in case of a fire.
Okay. What have I got? Okay, sustainable. Okay, I just as a curiosity, if this is not a growing facility, where's the dope coming from?
That's
Well-
not for this board to,
Yeah,
that's not where this board, we're looking at this site.
I mean, I don't want to see the city as being online as an importer.
No.
I understand your concern, but we're looking at the site plan review for what's in front of us, and it is very, very tightly tailored to this registered caregiver situation. And, beyond that, how the applicant conducts his business is not something for the board to review.
Not your job, right?
I will tell you, in reading the state statutes and the state laws, anything that's transported has to be tagged from where the grower was, where it's going to. There's a chain of command that he gets looked at by the state because he is a registered caregiver.
Okay.
It's not as loosey-goosey as one might think. I spent 2 days reading the rules and regulations on it.
Well, I can tell you honestly, I know a lot of dope dealers. And I know a lot of users, just because of my own history and work history. And they're going to be jumping up and down for joy. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, well, yes, one.
Yeah, does this kind of operation fall under any of the healthcare facility codes and regulations?
No,
Now, my understanding is that the regulations are very specific.
to this.
Medical marijuana registered caregiver. And I don't know, I don't pretend to know all of the laws and the regulations. I'm sure the applicant does. But I
If
can
it were-
imagine that they're.
If it were a facility that was going to be preparing food items, then the agriculture kicks in to do inspections for like a kitching or extracting area if they're trying to take the THC out, make it into candies or baked goods. But that's the only place that the state gets involved in it as far as health.
I just have a hard time linking the fact that he's providing clinical or medical care and it's not governed by any of the healthcare laws.
He's doing it now. He's just looking for a bricks and mortar place to do it out of.
Where is he doing it out of now?
I'm not gonna discuss that. That's I'm not gonna give you his home address or,
Looking for that out of
well,
citizen.
no. You can check with the state, it's the MMMP board down there, the Maine Medical Marijuana Program.
What's his name? Anthony?
It's Salvatore Faro III.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask one question? How do your clients become registered and how do they become discharged?
They have to fill out a form that the state gives me and give me one of the 2 cards from the prescription that I have to hold. They can discharge whenever they feel like they want to leave or found somebody else. They're free to leave whenever they want.
So could they discharge, could one of them discharge today and re-register tomorrow?
There's nothing that says they can't, but I pride myself on trying to keep my patients.
Okay. All right, well, we have gone through the findings of fact and the conditions of approval, the site plan review, which, again, want to emphasize the members of the audience that all we are doing here is a site plan review for this application. And all of the other issues regarding medical marijuana or recreational marijuana is way beyond what we are authorized to consider this evening.
This is Carolyn Smith. This is my last question. Will there be external advertising for the building?
There will be a sign that meets the zoning requirement. It may be the pylon sign, or it may be just a sign on the building, but no goods. As I say, the windows and the doors they're gonna be, for security reasons, you won't be able to see through those. The only other signage can be the hours of operation that can be on the building.
So it would be the name and the hours of operation.
And
Correct.
per our signage, our sign ordinances. Okay, any other business would have to meet
What's
that.
that sign gonna say?
I'm sorry?
What will that sign say?
Well, I don't remember seeing what it would say in here. Is that something we can,
It doesn't matter what it says.
yeah, as long as it meets the ordinance. I'm not sure.
I don't know if he's even thought about what it's gonna say.
We don't have one at this time.
Okay. All right, well, if everyone, I mean, you know, and I understand the concerns, and again, remember, our scope is very limited here. Would then ask for any other comments or questions from the board, and hearing that, if I don't hear any, then I guess we should make a motion that includes the conditions of approval. I don't know, should we vote on the findings of fact first, or can we combine that?
I would just approve as proposed with the 2 waivers, 20 findings of facts, and the 5 conditions of
Okay,
approval.
so we can combine that in one motion without objection. I would invite that motion.
If you look under item 3 on the agenda, it kind of gives you some.
Yeah.
Regardless of my personal feelings on this matter, we have a job to do by our regulations, so I will make a motion to approve the site plans presented along with the 2 waivers, 5 conditions of approval, and findings of fact numbers 1 through 20. For site plan review of NERM LLC for a medical marijuana registered caregiver facility located at 983 Stillwater Avenue, tax map 17, lots 22, 26, and 27, case 1525.
We have motion, do we have second?
I'll second.
Russ seconds the motion. Any further discussion or comments? All in favor? None opposed. And the motion carries, and we certainly wish Mr. Farrell good luck in your endeavor. Okay, thank you for your patience here. Okay, so I believe that pretty well covers that issue. And we can now move on to item 4, under old or new business, which is this, we need to sign planning board's recommendation to the city council for the zone changes approved on November 15th, 2016 for parcels at 35 Middle Street and 211 Main Street. And that doesn't require any motion or anything. We just have to sign something. I'm sure Dave is going to get that. Thank you all for coming tonight. I appreciate your comments, and I think we're pretty well done with anything other, unless you want to watch us sign a recommendation for approval.
What are you gonna do?
Well, yeah, no, it's straightforward. We met the conditions and.
Do we need to wait?
We need to
No, I
wait.
mean,
We need to
We
wait.
have to sign
We have to sign.
Oh, okay.
We probably don't need her on the TV anymore, do we?
I guess we're all set. Are we, well, we should, yeah, we should ask for a motion to adjourn.
We'll sign.
New business, I just need to have you guys sign
Right.
that zoning that we changed last week. It's like,
No other-
I went through my hours.
No other official items that we need.
Nothing.
So we are adjourned without objection.